Welcome to the Light, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, welcome back for another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. And for this particular episode, I have a very special guest. I have Andrew from Tickets from Two joining us. How you going, Andrew?
How's it going, Lee? It's great to be here. I'm really happy to be speaking with you. So I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk with me. I love it.
Oh, I appreciate you having you on here. It's we've been going back and forth for a couple of weeks now, trying to line up this episode. So obviously for the time difference, it's 9 o'clock for you in America, and it's 11 o'clock. 1:30 here in Australia.
Oh my God, you got your day started. How does that feel?
It's all right. I don't mind. It's like time wise, fine for me. I can start drinking.
It's never too early to start drinking, man.
No.
But that's great.
All right, and so we've got a whole big episode lined up for this episode. So we're going to go into a Q&A, talk about our favorite movies, our least favorite movies, and then we're going to talk about our most anticipated movies this year so far and what's yet to come. So guys, stay tuned. It's going to be a really fun episode, isn't it, Andrew?
I'm so ready for it. Everyone who listens to us, they're going to have a good
time. Again, thank you again for joining us. And so do you want to start? I'll start with a question, and you want to do a question, Andrew?
Yeah, let's go for it. I love it.
So I know you guys did a Q&A episode a few episodes ago, didn't you?
We did, actually. Yeah, that was a great time where we were able to get questions from our followers and answer them on the pod.
That was so good. Like, I really actually enjoyed the episode. But I was listening to the questions, like, I should do this. Like, this is a great idea.
It's good to get a good idea. Yeah, an idea of like what you like, get the people more into your life, and get an understanding of why you started this to begin with. So I like it. I like being transparent. That's kind of like my thing. Yeah,
exactly right. That's why I put on my podcast, I put E for explicit, because I was like, I can't do an entire podcast without swearing. I'm like, nah. If I want to be my true self and be transparent, I'm going to swear, especially if the movie's really shit.
We're trying to be as family friendly as possible and like avoid the cursing or anything like that, because when we upload our podcast, there's like an option saying, is there explicit language? We're trying to not ever click that box, but no, I totally get what you're saying. Like sometimes it'll slip out.
Yeah. I was talking about. I'll explain that later. But let's start with the first question. So, Andrew, what is? It's more like a two-part question. So, what is your favorite movies, and what is your favorite childhood movie growing up? And has that changed?
Oh man, that's a good one. That's a good question. So for right now, like I'll get to the childhood question, but for right now, my favorite movies are Forrest Gump is number one for me. I really love that film.
Great movie.
Oh my God, I just love the historical aspect of it all. I think it was fantastic. Second favorite movie is Parasite. I had a good time watching that. It was funny when I saw that movie in theaters. It was a crowd of South Koreans. Like I'm the only non-Asian person in the theater. I was like, okay, this is so cool. I love it. And then a third movie is Whiplash, and then my fourth favorite movie is Fences with Denzel Washington.
Yep. I haven't seen Fences. I haven't seen Parasite, but Parasite wasn't that the first that won an Oscar, didn't it? It was the first Korean movie.
Yeah, you're right. The first foreign language film to win Best Picture.
Yeah, that's right. Because I hadn't seen the movie, but I remember seeing all the news about just won this award. It's fantastic, and the fact it was the first one. Even you saw everyone standing up. You were like, oh, that's a interesting cast list.
Exactly. I remember that year that the movie was nominated too. I was like having a huge bet with my coworkers of like who's gonna win Best Picture, because we love doing that every year, me and my coworkers, on like Oscar season. And I was like fighting so hard, like I know Parasite's gonna win, I know it, and they're like, no, it's not gonna win. It's a foreign language film. Like just you wait. And then we get the announcement. I'm like texting everybody like, "Y'all owe me $5 because that was the bet." So
I will collect on Monday.
So I made a little money there, but it was cool. I really recommend anyone to break down that language barrier and check out foreign language films in general. You'll be blown away by the artistic work that these directors do.
No, of course, and that's the thing is like these movies. Obviously we don't see them all the time compared to obviously English movies, but the fact that some foreign films are completely fantastic, yet because the fact they don't get that publicity, it's not as shown. I remember there was one movie. It won. I think one Best Picture was. I can't remember the name. It was like Ronin or Roma or something other way. It was black and white.
Oh, yes, I know which movie you're talking about. That was I think you're right. Roma.
Black and white film, and I watched that and I was like, I was like, that's really good, but at the same time, like constantly having one eye up and one eye down to look at subtitles.
That little wall, that little wall down there of words really does scare a lot of people away. But just like you, if you take that leap and you get in there, you'll be exposed to so much incredible cinema from all around the world.
Exactly right. And some of those movies are 100% better than the crap that you see, even with English movies as well. And you're like, well, I'd rather watch the foreign ones than some of the English speaking ones.
Oh my god, yeah, and a lot of English-speaking movies are starting to take like the same story from everything that we've already seen before. So it's getting super oversaturated at this point.
It is, and they're like, oh look, reboot! Oh look, reboot! Reboot!
A sequel to something we never wanted. Like Hollywood is just taking a weird direction right now.
I know, and the thing is, like, and have a look at the highest-grossing movie this year. Is the fact is a sequel. It is not,
Oh my god!
It's a sequel. Actually, the first 3 highest-grossing movies this year are all sequels.
We're talking about Top Gun, right? Yeah, but have you seen Top Gun?
Yeah, I saw Top Gun. I wasn't going to go see it, but the Nerdos guys kept telling me like you need to go see it. I was like, oh, it's not on my list to watch, and I thought, all right, I'll go watch it. And I messaged straight away, this is fantastic. That was just so good. And then like you guys' episode as well, you guys both agreed how fantastic it was.
Yeah. We had a great time watching it. It's funny because like in our episode we were ranting about how we wish there was like another like love scene just to make fun of the first one, because the first movie, Top Gun, was like just like a softcore porn show, man. It was not even that great to watch it with your family. So like, I hope they make fun of it in the second one, but I don't know. Either way, still a fantastic movie, like you said.
Yeah, $1 billion at the box office. Second running is Doctor Strange on 951 million, and then number 3 is Jurassic World Dominion.
I don't think Jurassic World deserves that title. I feel like people just went to watch a couple of dinosaurs, but we got like 90% of people talking. I just totally trashed that movie in our most recent podcast episode.
You did,
like that. Oh god, yeah.
And I fully agree with you guys. Like, it just annoys me because the fact that I'm like, why is a dinosaur movie that's built on like dinosaur and horror? Why is the biggest threat? Was it locusts? Why is that the threat?
That totally threw me off. I was like, what is happening? that was not supposed to happen to me. I don't know. I did not like the movie whatsoever. And then talking about Doctor Strange too, like I think they missed the ball on that one too. It could have been a way better film in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you on Doctor Strange too. I said in my review was that in the overall the MCU kind of doesn't hit the mark. We were expecting a whole lot more. But if you look at just as like if it was just a 1 and 2 for Doctor Strange, not connecting to anything else, it's a solid sequel, in my opinion, to Doctor Strange. But when you add everything on top of it, it does let the bar down.
That's a great way to put it. I actually like the way you said that because I totally agree with you. They could have done a little better, but like you mentioned, on Alone, if you just completely look at it at face value, they took risks, and I love it. I mean, we can talk about it now. I think everyone's seen it, but like killing off characters and stuff like that. That was bold, so I respect them for that.
Yeah, Illuminati, what was just useless, absolutely useless. I I was saying to a mate the other day, I was like, I love to see where Mordo's like, oh, we will conclude this session voting when they return, and Doctor Strange is like, they ain't coming back. They're dead. They're all fucking dead.
And then he was warning them the whole time, like, yo, y'all need to start stepping up a bit because Wanda's going to kill all of you. And nope, they didn't want to believe it, but I don't know.
Nah.
It was still good. But anyways, I want to get back to it, though. Like, what was...
Yeah,
No, hey, it's all good. This is the point, right? We're ranting. It's in your name. And I love it.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, what are your favorite movies? You know, like, I don't think we've got into that.
No, so my favorite movie is the Back to the Future trilogy. That's probably one of my favorite movies, and like my childhood movie that I always loved. Jurassic Park, the very first one, and if I pull it to like something more recent, I would say The Dark Knight. Absolutely love the Dark Knight trilogy. You know, I can absolutely rant on how the fact that completely reinvented Batman, and then I can rant on how the DCEU completely let down Batman in a matter of, I think it was 8 years. But recent again is Avengers Endgame.
Yes, that was a fantastic movie. Yeah, I had a good time there. I remember, it's funny when people ask, like, do you remember where you were during, like, a certain event in your life? And I remember, like, the day I went to see Avengers Endgame, like, premiere. It was, like, an out-of-body experience. Like, it was something, like, I feel I would never, go through again in theaters. I can't think of any other movie that's put me through, like, that emotional roller coaster.
Fully agree. Absolutely. Like, I was listening to someone the other day, and they were trying to compare like top grossing movies to, like, saying how Top Gun and Endgame, and I was saying the fact that I think for as long as I think this will always happen, you cannot compare another movie, even if it's makes more money than Endgame. You can't compare anything to Endgame because it's a completely different beast and animal altogether to any other movie that comes out. Because you had people cheering in the theater. You had people were screaming, and then as soon as the movie ended, everyone stood up and clapped. I've never been in a movie like that.
Me either. Like, I remember the scene when Captain America lifts the hammer. Oh, geez, like that was like I was out of my seat. I almost wanted to jump up. I was like, I gotta sit down for a second. But that was good. I was gonna ask you, for movies like these, like, what do you think about like how much creative control directors have? Because I feel like Marvel has such a heavy like say in like what goes in and what doesn't in a movie. Like, what do you think? Like, do you think directors have like control?
Well, it's a hard thing to say because the fact that if you look at the past, look what happened with Ant-Man with Edgar Wright and what happened with him, and then look what happened with Scott Derrickson and Sam Raimi with Doctor Strange 2. They wanted to make a different movie, and yet obviously Marvel said, no, we want to go in this direction. However, Doctor Strange 2 is still a solid movie on its own. Ant-Man, was still a solid movie on its own. I feel like I would say they would probably have 70%. I would say 70% and then 30% is Marvel. But then if you look on the other side of the fence, you have Taika Waititi, who apparently Marvel has said to him with Thor 3, go nuts. Just go nuts. And look what happened.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's like their confidence, like the directors that they hire. Because I agree with you, right? Like, they probably with the Taika and like, you're solid, go on your own. But with all these other guys, and like, we need to watch you a little more closely. So yeah, I agree with you. It's probably a trust thing more than anything.
Yeah, exactly right. And if you ever do get a chance, there's a really good interview with Sam Raimi, and he said the fact that when Kevin Feige came to producing, said to direct Doctor Strange 2, he said, "Oh well, I'll need three assistants or something," and it was like 3 color people and 4 costume people. And then someone was sitting there going, "Oh, you can't do that." And then Kevin Feige stepped in and is like, "No, you're going to get 5 color people. You're going to get 8." Like, he doubled the amount for Sam Raimi because he knew what he brought to the table. So, and you see that as well, how Kevin Feige had so much faith in Sam Raimi that he's like, "Nah, you got everything. Go nuts."
That's so cool. I'll have to check that out because I never heard about that. That's good to know that Marvel actually does care then, like behind the scenes, more than the whole Warner Brothers DC universe. I don't even know what we do at this point. Do we start fresh? Do we bring back Zack Snyder's universe? Like, what do we do? I don't know.
It's just a effing mess, and I feel bad because I feel like every time I mention anything about DC in my previous episodes, I go on that tangent and just bitch and moan about how shit it is. But actually, good question. Like, what did you think? Have you seen the Snyder Cut?
I did.
Yeah. What did you think of that?
I did. I thought it was a masterpiece, and compared to what was originally done with Joss Whedon, too long. But I think that's what Zack Snyder was, going for, like a long movie.
Yeah.
It was interesting how they split it up into parts, but I loved it. I still did. I think it was really well made, and you can tell right away how much Joss Whedon messed it up compared to what Zack did.
It's just it just showed everything watching that movie, and I said to my mates when we watched it, I was like, how was this not allowed to be made? Yet we got that absolute pile of garbage from Joss Whedon. And my biggest thing is the Flash scene. Who in their right mind said, yeah, look, we don't need that. Just go save some Russians, and that will be just as good of a scene. Like, that will be fine.
Some random-ass family,
Random-ass family. You don't get their names, all the fact that they get attacked by the parademons, and that's it. And the fact that, even Steppenwolf looks so much more intimidating.
Oh, yeah, that was a really good upgrade compared to what we saw. Yeah, that was good.
And I was like, what? And then we got the black suit Superman, which we were meant to get.
I don't know what they were thinking when Warner Brothers said, like, oh, yeah, this is a good movie. Let's release it to the theaters. I don't know what they were thinking. But one thing that bothers me a lot from that Justice League movie is how during the Oscars, like, that Flash scene won, like, the most cheered, like, audience reaction. Like, there's no way that beat out either Endgame or Spider-Man, or there's no way it beat them out. But, God.
Nah, it's because it's Snyder fans. Restore the Snyderverse people. They're nuts. And, like, when I saw that got done, I said in my episode at the time, I was like, look, I love the scene. It deserves praise. It should be rewatched multiple times. But I can't tell you that beats all three Spider-Man swinging in together at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. Like that doesn't beat that.
Yeah. That's our childhood right there, coming back together, and you're going to vote for a Flash slow-mo scene? No, come on now.
I know. I still love the fact that someone actually calculated that I think it's about 20% or a little bit more of the Snyder Cut is actually all in slow-mo. Like 20 or 30% of the film is all in slow-mo.
Oh my god, yeah. Zack Snyder has like a fetish for slow motion. I don't understand why, because like half of those scenes don't deserve to be in slow-mo.
No.
He was trying to just beat the time just to make it longer. I don't know.
Yeah. You don't have to stretch it out. It's already 4 hours. Like, every time I think of myself to go back and watch it, I'm like, I can't be asked to sit down and watch it for 4 hours. But then again, I'll go over I'll go watch Endgame. I'll go watch Endgame again. But
well, hey, let's not bore too many of our people talking about Marvel and DC. I think I think you and I have such a critical view about these things.
I know. But so what do you pulling back? So Forrest Gump is like your favorite movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that actually ties into what my favorite childhood movie is too. So it hasn't changed. I have a poster in my room of the movie Forrest Gump. I don't know. I am a huge history buff more than anything. I love everything, U.S. history, world history. And so seeing the U.S. events tied into a movie like this, that just was beautiful. I don't know. It's one of those movies or one of those things that you just can't put into words of why it means so much to you. It's like my comfort movie. And every time I feel down or I need to pick me up, I throw that on, and it's there for me.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Like, especially if a movie can exact that much emotion into you. And, Forrest Gump, even the CGI still holds up right now, between Tom Hanks and, like, John Lennon, and when he's meeting the presidents as well, like, that still holds up now. And the fact that, like, every time I watch it, I just think to myself, how was this going to be made when it was originally going to be, Oh, he was. Yeah,
John
John Travolta.
Travolta?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
no way. This we've done so well with John Travolta at all.
It's funny, I've never met anybody who's known this much about this movie than you. No one really has ever either seen this movie or knows any of this stuff, so I'm really impressed.
No, you're welcome. But no,
Yeah, no, thank you.
no, but I'm one of those people that I like watch a movie and I'm like, all right, I need to know more. I need to look this up and everything else into it. And even the scenes, like it's like, oh, I'll go get my sea legs, Lieutenant Dan.
But you ain't got no legs.
You ain't got no legs. And
it's such a quotable movie as well.
Yes, exactly right. And like I always love every New Year's, I always see the picture of like when they have New Year's and Lieutenant Dan's sitting down and everything's celebrating. And he's sitting down at the bar.
Yeah.
I always love seeing that, like, when you're not celebrating with your friends.
That's how we all look. That's how we all feel deep down.
And this movie was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who directed Back to the Future as well.
That's right. And what I love the most about the Forrest Gump movie is the composer Alan Silvestri. He actually did the music for Avengers Endgame too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so it's really cool seeing everything just come back full circle in some way.
Yeah, I know, right? And like between him, Hans Zimmer, and John Williams, like they've made some of the most iconic themes of all time.
Oh, definitely. I think is it Hans Zimmer that's retiring after Indiana Jones, or is it John Williams?
John Williams, and
that's right.
I feel like when I saw that get announced, I was like, well, he's gonna be 92 years old when this movie
that's crazy.
comes out. So it's he's earned the right to retire if he wants to. It was still surprising that he did the theme for Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. Even though that wasn't really a massive theme, he did that as well.
Yeah, but still, in general, like I feel like these composers, these legends, there's got to be a chance where if you have the opportunity to see them live or like do their shows live, like definitely go do it. I think that's one on my bucket list to see. Like, I mean, not anymore John Williams, maybe Hans Zimmer live, because that's got to be a sight to see.
Oh, I fully agree with you. Like, I would lose my absolute shit to hear the Dark Knight theme live in concert.
I know. I remember at Coachella this past year, they had live the composer who did Spider-Man 2, and they did like the entire soundtrack with the whole orchestra at Coachella. So something like that. Oh, I would have died to be there.
Oh, Danny Elfman.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And he also did the music for Doctor Strange as well.
That's right. They did bring him back. Yeah, I know Sam Raimi and Danny Elfman. They're close friends. Like he does most of the soundtrack for Evil Dead too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he does too. Yeah.
So,
I think if you go into Danny Elfman's Spotify, I think it's the number 2. I think it's number 1 is I think Spider-Man 1, obviously a trilogy. Mm-hmm. He originally did the Batman theme with Michael Keaton.
Wow,
yeah.
That's crazy.
And then I think the next one, I think it could be, Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm telling you, man, I'm learning a lot from you right now too that I've never learned. So this is pretty cool. I'm writing all these down right now. I'm taking notes.
No, it's all right. I'll send you a transcript.
Oh yeah, there we go. I'm gonna frame that whenever you send it over.
But no, it's I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, like it's interesting how like when you look back at these movies and you start connecting the dots and you're like, wow, that's the reason why I like that movie so much, because it's the same composer or it's the same director, and I love Forrest Gump, and I haven't seen Fences and I haven't seen Parasite. And what was your 4th movie? Whiplash.
Whiplash.
With Miles Teller and it's not J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah,
J.K. Simmons. Yeah. It's not J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man.
Every time I see him, I see that, or what I see is Invincible.
That's right. His iconic mustache is just everywhere.
Yeah, exactly right. That's all the two things I see, and I try to remember his name properly.
Yeah. But what I'll say about Fences, I feel like if you ever get a chance, it's a slow movie for anyone listening. It's a slow movie, but it has a lot of heart, it has a lot of passion, and it makes you really love everyone around you. It's a great family movie that makes you appreciate more of what you got. So if anyone has the chance, the opportunity to watch Fences, it's a great sit down movie. So highly recommend.
And that's with you said Denzel Washington
and Viola Davis. Yeah, Viola Davis actually won Best Supporting Actress for that movie.
Oh wow! How old is it?
Yeah, I believe it came out in 16, 15. And I remember I was like younger when I saw that movie, but now you got me curious. So I got to find out. Oh, 2016. Yeah. Okay. So I was in that ballpark.
Oh, I'm just writing this down right now as we speak. I'm like, all right, maybe recommendations to watch.
For anyone listening to, like, all of our favorite movies, Your Dark Knight, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen, but you can watch that over and over again, and everyone will love it, no matter what.
Yeah. One movie I tell everyone to watch that some people haven't seen is The Prestige. Have you ever seen that?
Oh yes, I've seen The Prestige. Beautiful, I love it. That's another Christopher Nolan film, right?
Yeah, it is. It is with Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. And I sometimes have people when I talk about it, like, what's that? I'm like, if you have to ask me what that is, you need to go watch it. It is. And then when I'm like, when you watch it, you need to message me and tell me what you think of the ending.
Remind me what the ending was. I did see the movie, but remind me what the ending was. It's been a while.
The ending was like how the fact that like he couldn't figure out how he was doing, how Christian Bale was doing, how he was appearing in two places. So then Hugh Jackman, actually met David Bowie. David Bowie, who's actually in the film, he plays Tesla. And a trivia fact for anybody: Christopher Nolan sent the script to David Bowie, and David Bowie declined. So Christopher Nolan, he actually went to David Bowie's house and then spoke to him about the role because he was like, "I want you for this role."
Wow, that's so good. Rest in peace, David Bowie, because that was interesting. I didn't know that.
No, R.I.P. Rest, absolute legend, absolute legend. But right at the end, he creates that machine so he can appear in two different places, and you realize that he's been killing himself every single time because he's been making a real clone of himself.
Interesting. Wow. Okay.
And then you don't find
that's mind blowing.
And you don't find out to the end because it's actually Christian Bale who kills him. That he actually tells him the fact he's had a twin the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. That's all coming back to me now. Wow. Yeah. No. Yeah, definitely. If anyone needs to watch a good a movie like that, yeah, Prestige definitely hits the spot. I love it.
Yeah, even though it's like slightly spoiled just now, you should just watch it.
We should have given a spoiler warning for a second.
Yeah, spoiler warning if you go this far in the episode. Spoiler, left, right, center. I haven't actually had someone come back and say to me, "Oh, why'd you spoil it?" Because I'm like, my episodes come out on Tuesday when new films obviously come out Wednesday and Thursday. So I'm like, look, if I'm spoiling it for you, you're too late.
It's funny because we got complaints about that. We've actually been told why'd you guys spoil the movie? Because like we mentioned, we review every new release that comes out, and so whenever we talk about it, we've got people telling us you guys should give us a spoiler warning, or now I can't listen to it because I want to see the movie in theaters. So yeah, we've gotten quite a bit of a talking to.
Really, I don't understand. I don't understand. You've clicked on the episode; it's in the title. What we're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening, if you haven't already, you guys need to jump on Tickets for Two. Their podcast is fantastic, and your episodes are great. And you guys go into so much detail. It's well worth it listening to every single time. And because of that, I'm like, well, of course you're going to spoil it.
That's what we do. We're a movie review show. We're not going to spend 30 to 40 minutes on, spoiler-free review. But, people have, their right to their opinion and the right to say whatever they want. So we just take it, off the show. And we're like, okay, we get it. But we know what we're doing. But thank you very much for the praise. We love your show. We love what you do. We love your page. And that's why we were more than happy. Unfortunately, the second half of Tickets for Two couldn't be here. He's on vacation with his fiance. So we're letting him have the weekend off.
Oh, well, I hope he's enjoying it, and I do hope that we can do a collab in the future, and obviously have all three of us. Whether regardless of who shows it on, I think that'd be so much fun. But I was more than happy the fact that I still got one half here.
Oh my god, I'm happy to be here. Like, I'm here to represent the team. I'm here to represent the pod, and yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
But we're not done here yet. We're not done here, right?
Nah.
Okay.
So what is your least favorite movie? Or sorry, what's your least, like, you think that movie's just awful, it's trash, and you can't stand to watch it?
That's a good one. I think for most recently, it was Jurassic World Dominion. I think that movie was an absolute trash bin of a movie. I didn't like it one bit. But if I am going to go back into thinking, like, what is a movie I think is absolute garbage, I really dislike the second Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield. I think the first Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield was good, but the second one, I didn't think that was good at all.
Really?
Yeah, so I will be on that controversial list there. You can put my head on a pike, but I did not like that one.
I look. You can tell which Andrew Garfield's gone on record as well. The fact that there's simple rule of cramming too much into it and not letting the movie breathe. Mm-hmm. And the interesting thing is that with that movie, it also has one of the most saddest death scenes, which, had the biggest payoff in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh my God, yeah, that callback to, man, poor Gwen and her neck. But I did love how they did that in No Way Home, how they pretty much let him redeem himself and all that. But one thing I wish they did, because I know there's a lot of controversy around that movie, and people love it, people hate it, but I really wonder what was going on behind the scenes, because I know if you've seen a deleted scene about the Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Andrew Garfield meets his dad, and I feel like they should have kept scenes like that in the movie, and that would have been way more powerful. So I wonder what else they cut out. I really wonder what else they didn't include, but yeah, that to me, that's one of my least favorite movies out there.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, another deleted scene they cut out was actually MJ. There's actually scenes where MJ gets introduced, and they cut those scenes too.
That's right. That was Shailene Woodley was supposed to be MJ, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen so much they could have done to make it way better, but in my opinion, it didn't come out so good.
Nah, and like until to my credit is until Spider-Man No Way Home, I'd actually never seen Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, I knew of the death scene, but I actually never watched it because I was one of those people that when I was so excited for Spider-Man 4. It got announced. Tobey Maguire is my childhood Spider-Man, just like how, Hugh Jackman is my childhood Wolverine and Christian Bale is my generation Batman. When Spider-Man 4 got cancelled and we got this new Spider-Man, I was like, that's not Tobey Maguire, blah, blah, blah. And I remember seeing Amazing Spider-Man 1, yet nothing, like, it was a good movie, but nothing got me to the point where I wanted to see a second one. So when the second one got announced and came out, I never saw it, yet how I saw everything, the fact it was trash, and the fact that, it was too mulled up, and the fact that, in just a couple of years, he got recast with Tom Holland. Actually, another trivia fact was the fact that, so Spider-Man 2 was coming out roughly, I think, the same year as Avengers. And there was a brief moment where the fact that Oscorp from Amazing Spider-Man 2 was going to be in Avengers, and they were going to connect the universe. However, that didn't come to pass, and they kept it separated. Which hindsight is 50-50. Lucky they did.
Yeah, it's crazy how these things happen, and it's all for the better. I'm pretty sure in that moment, 2012. I think the Marvel and everyone there was so excited, we could have had Spider-Man in this one, blah blah blah. Oh. But the payoff, it was still so good to wait.
Was it 9 years later? The payoff was so much worth it for both of them coming on screen.
So I have a question for you, real fast. I'm curious. So I want to know, what's your movie that you think doesn't deserve the hate?
Oh, it doesn't deserve the hate. That's a good question. I thought you were gonna ask me what I think is a terrible trash movie, and I was gonna say don't look up. Don't Look Up is.
Oh, that's true. That was a bad movie.
I've never I can't before that movie. I can't think of another movie where I've looked on. This is utterly crap. This is awful, and I feel sorry for all these high grade actors that sign on for this.
And for Adam McKay to come off of Vice and The Big Short, yeah, that was such a bad movie.
It was just so bad. I'm like, Leonardo DiCaprio, you just pumped out a long time. What was it? A Long Time in Hollywood? Oh, yeah, A Story in Hollywood. And this is what you. Yeah, sorry. What's for a time?
What's Upon a Time
with this? What?
But yeah. Well, so I'll answer the question first because I want to know yours. So I think personally, Venom, the first one, I don't think that one deserved all the hate. I think that movie with Tom Hardy did a great job in it. I think they did a good job talking about being the whole anti-hero. That was to me a movie that didn't need that much backlash.
Nah, I agree with you. So I fully agree with you. Venom. Actually, hang on. What about Venom 2? What did you think about Venom 2?
Oh yeah, no, that was trash.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
But no, I agree with you. Venom didn't deserve. I still think Venom for itself is a solid movie. Yes, there could be things that you could have worked on, but like it doesn't. Yeah, I didn't leave the theater going, "Oh, that was awful. That was shit." But I would say one movie I agree that probably doesn't deserve all the hate would be X-Men 3. At the top of my head.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's a deep cut there. I like that.
Because yes, it is not how you should have finished a trilogy. However, there was some still great scenes. Kelsey Grammer killed it as Beast in the movie. We got that giant fight scene at the end. You got to see. Even I still think all the scenes with Jean Grey being the Phoenix was awesome, especially when Wolverine's trying to get to her and his skin's peeling off and you can see his bone, the metal antimony underneath. I think that's a great. Sorry, excuse my dog. I think that's. I think.
That
was absolutely fantastic. Hugh Jackman killed it. But yes, did Xavier die? And that started the trend where that would be the first, I think, 3 times we've seen Xavier die since then. But yeah, I think that doesn't deserve as much hate as it should get. Oh, actually, no. Another one is Wolverine Origins.
Okay, I totally agree with you there. I think that movie was actually pretty good. And you're right.
That doesn't deserve much hate. Yes, could they have fixed the CGI just a little bit? But you got to admit, this in the tank scene when they're putting the antimony into his bones, like that's such a killer scene, and that's like straight from the comics.
And Liev Schreiber just killed as Sabretooth in my opinion. I think that was such a good casting right there.
Yep, that was good. I love the flashback at the very start too. How they're going through all the different wars.
Right, as brothers, like that to me was like such a unique concept and a unique idea. I love when movies take those kind of creative risks. It pays off a lot. I love it.
Yeah, and it paid off through the whole movie. And then you look back and go, so there you guys fight each other in the beginning of X-Men. And you have no idea. It doesn't seem like Sabretooth has any idea who you are either. But I'd say Origin doesn't deserve so much hate. That's probably the very two that come straight at my head. I was gonna say Batman v Superman, but that deserves some hate.
Hold on. I think I would have exited the podcast right now if you said that. I would have just said good night.
And I'm out. Nah. No, I dislike Batman v Superman. It was similar thing. They tried to cram too much into it. Sorry, pull back 1 second. Amazing Spider-Man 2, that was meant to launch. Amazing Spider-Man 3, and that was meant to launch a Sinister Six movie. And then they also wanted to make a Spider-Gwen movie from that as well.
Sony has all these ambitious plans, but I don't think they realize how bad they are at making movies.
I don't
know where they don't. I have no idea. I don't know where they get these like trash directors from, like these bottom of the barrel kind of places, but I don't know, they just can't make a good one. I think the only thing they done right was the Into the Spider-Verse thing, that the
Oh,
animated one.
yeah. How good is that?
Yeah,
Oh,
that to me is up there, like one of the best superhero movies with Logan and Spider-Man 2.
yeah. Oh, don't get me started on Logan. We could be here for another like 2 hours.
Ooh,
That's
I'll join you, man.
that.
That movie could just be broken apart like every single bit. I love that
It,
film.
you really can, and I think just real quick, Logan. I don't tell everyone I don't consider that to be a superhero film. I'm like, no, this is an action, like an old western kind of movie. There's really nothing super in it at all, except probably the last little action scene. But besides that, it's just a really good, down to earth, the Last Rider kind of movie. And especially if you watch it in black and white, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I love how James was it James
James
Gold
Mangold is also directing,
Mangold. Yeah.
the new Indiana Jones.
That's right. Yeah, I have good trust in him as a director. I love how this entire podcast turns to just like two Marvel fanboys just talking about everything in regarding to Marvel.
I know. It's well worth it. That's why people listen, right?
That's why they come
That's
to
why they
us.
come.
Yes.
All right, well, going on to my next question was what's your like guilty pleasure kind of movie? Like a movie that it's terrible, but it kind of still makes you laugh.
Oh wow, man, you're asking the good, hard hitting questions. Yeah, I think. You put me on the spot for this, and this is cool because currently everyone knows I'm stalling right now to think about it. But I like how you didn't send me any of these questions ahead of time. So
No,
you put me on the spot.
Now, if anyone's listening, we didn't send each other the questions at all. And before this episode started, we only spoke for about a good 20 minutes, just trying to get everything ready. So we didn't mention anything what we're gonna question wise.
See, I think one movie that I put on. Wow. So it's not a bad movie. It's not bad. Like people don't think it's bad, but I think one movie that I do put on a lot is The Incredibles.
Do you realize that is the best Fantastic Four film?
Yeah, that's what Fantastic Four should be.
Yeah,
is The Incredibles. You're right. I like that. But to me, that movie does bring back to my childhood. So it's my little guilty pleasure and it's such a kid movie. And I'm not a kid anymore, but at heart I still am. So I always put that back on whenever I get a chance.
That's a great movie, and I completely agree with you on why you do that. And well, it is a kids movie, but then when you realize the fact that Syndrome has been slaughtering superheroes for multiple months and everything, and then with robots, it kind of gets oh, it's a little bit dark. But no, The Incredibles. I remember I saw that in the movie theater. I thought this is so good. This was such a good Pixar film. Which actually, you guys, speaking of Pixar, you guys had a great discussion on the current state of Pixar films because of the fact you went and saw Lightyear.
That's right. Yeah, when we went to see Lightyear and we came out of it, we were talking to ourselves about, is this really the direction that Pixar is going to start going to? Are we going to start getting a Woody origin movie? What are we going to start getting next? And we started talking, like you mentioned, our episode. We started talking a lot about what is Pixar's peak? Did we already pass it? Are they on the decline of films? Like we talked about in our show, I think Soul was the last great movie that they were able to punch out. Because I was not a fan. I don't even know The Good Dinosaur. I don't even know what that's about. But I wasn't a fan of any of these recent ones that they dished out.
If you don't know how to emotionally get, but if you do watch The Good Dinosaur, that's pure Pixar, and it's just sad. It is really sad at some points in that.
Really?
Yeah. It's short version. It's about obviously a little dinosaur, and it's all about the fact that he loses his parents, and he's on a journey to try and find them. And I'm pretty sure I think it gets sadder towards halfway through that he really can't find them, or I think something worse happens. I haven't seen it in a while, but it just gets sad really sad at one point. And Soul, you know, it's funny. Soul, I only flicked that on because it was on Disney Plus, and I watched that with my partner, and we both really liked that.
It was great. I remember watching that too when it first got released, and it gives you such an existential crisis of like, is what I'm doing right now in my life what I want to do forever? It makes you
Yeah,
think.
you're like, oh, well, my life is a complete waste right now. Oh,
I gotta start something new. I gotta go somewhere else.
yeah, I really gotta do something. But yeah, it has Pixar peaked. That's probably like as you guys said, that's a really good question because like as you mentioned in your episode, Wall-E, peak 5 out of 5 star film, and so was Up, and like just how fantastic those films are. I think probably I would say actually I got to actually before my next question will lead into this, but a guilty pleasure for me film is I still laugh. It's actually only a recent one. Have you ever seen The Room?
Yeah. Oh, Tommy Wiseau. Okay, yes. So I have not seen The Room, but I saw the one with James Franco and like how
that's a really good movie. But yeah, if you guys do please review The Room. So I've watched it a couple of times now, and it is the single worst movie of all time, but it makes me laugh just how crap it is. The acting is terrible. The inconsistency of the scenes is terrible. Funny enough, there's 3 sex scenes in the film. Yeah, right. But it's meant to be one girl and 2 different people, but it's the same sex scene with the same girl and the first guy. Each time, but they're saying it's somebody else.
I love how like The Room has become like one of those movies where like it's so bad that it's actually pretty good, and I think that's like the route that Morbius tried to go with all the memes and all the jokes about it. And
it's Morbin time.
Like, yeah, and then Sony's like, "Oh, let's re-release it in theaters. People are talking about us." It's like, no, do you guys not have like a social media intern to tell you that it's not a good thing that we're making fun of it? But yeah, I love how The Room has become like that kind of movie where you understand what you're getting into and you enjoy it. But with Morbius, that's just absolute garbage. I've never even seen it, so I'm being a hypocrite. But from the clips that I have seen, I don't even want to bother wasting my money.
Nah. I went to the movies to go see Morbius because I was like, no, it's obviously being a movie critic, I'm going to watch it. And Jared Leto isn't a bad actor. This is his second stab in the superhero genre, and it was just, the thing is, I don't get Sony's mindset. I'm like, who the fuck is saying yes to all this? Because it was delayed. It was meant to come out in 2019, I think. So it's been delayed multiple times. They did reshoots. And the fact, halfway through the movie, it feels like someone said, we need to wrap this up. So everything speeds up right at the end. It goes really quick. There's scenes in the trailer that aren't in the movie. And just to top it off, that right at the end, spoiler for anybody, Michael Keaton's Vulture's in it, right?
Yes, that's right. And yeah, they did a huge clickbait with their marketing when the scenes with Spider-Man and the trailers and everything, and then the Oscorp Tower, and everyone's confused, what universe are we in?
Yeah.
And they ruined it completely for everybody.
The director doesn't even know. He's like, I can't tell you because I'll get. I'm like, you have no idea what universe it is. You don't even effing know, because you know how in Spider-Man No Way Home, how everyone got drawn to Spider-Man. Apparently, for some reason, Michael Keaton's Vulture doesn't get drawn to Spider-Man. He falls into this universe.
It makes no sense, and I just love how so there's a lot of rumor. I'm like, here we go again, guys. We're talking about Marvel all over again. But I know there's a theory out there that, as we've seen in the Doctor Strange movie, when you have universes that collide, you could create an incursion, which leads to the destruction of a universe. So people are saying that Kevin Feige is going to try to use that to destroy the Sony universe because due to an incursion, because Michael Keaton jumped in there. So yeah, that'd be funny.
Do it. I had a massive theory for Doctor Strange. I was like, what would be? I was telling my mates, it would be an absolute power move. And I was like, if they were jumping through the universes and they actually, just for a brief second, that they don't pass one with Superman and Batman. I'm like, that would have been such a power fucking move.
Oh yeah, like just to show that DC in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that would have been a good
like,
one.
like that would have been awesome. But like, it would be good if they destroyed Sony. Like Sony, like just sell Spider-Man. You can't do it.
I don't know why they're holding on to it for dear life.
Money.
Like at this point, it's like it's money and probably a huge like fu to Disney and like Marvel. That's not right.
pretty much. I'm like, the only reason the Spider-Man movies are so popular right now is because the fact that Marvel makes them. All you do is pay for the marketing and production. That's it. But no, like my question was leading on to that back for Pixar. If their quality is going down, is that do you think that we're past the COVID effect in cinema? Meaning, like, with how the dip in Pixar films, do you think that's because of like the COVID effect? With everything that's happened the past 2 years, and do you think with Spider-Man: No Way Home and Top Gun that people now it's almost normally like everyone's going out now, no one's more shy about going to movies anymore?
That's a good question. So a couple things, right? In my opinion, I think the COVID effect is huge right now, and it's still in effect. I think a lot of people are not really afraid of necessarily coronavirus, but people are just more weary and more aware of like what they're going to spend their money on to see in the theater. And I think being at home, being through pandemic, everyone was able to like take their time to realize, why would I go to a theater to watch a movie that doesn't matter? So I think what companies need to focus a lot about is how they market their movie. So like you mentioned, Spider-Man: No Way Home, Top Gun, all these films had like raving reviews and incredible word of mouth. And with Lightyear, just by word of mouth, people were like shitting on it and saying how it's a bad movie, don't waste your time, and therefore like nobody went to see it. So people are going to start taking public opinion really seriously now due to this whole COVID effect. Because I think before COVID, everyone would have flocked to see Lightyear. Like, wow, it's your Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely think marketing is going to for sure now be the next big thing. And not only that, but the fear that these companies have, and from like Rotten Tomatoes, I feel like every chance a movie gets, if Rotten Tomatoes certified fresh is it, they will slap it on like every commercial on TV. It's certified fresh, certified fresh. So they're super afraid that if they don't get that, people are not going to go watch their movie. So COVID definitely had an effect on how these companies and directors are going to start pushing their films.
Oh, I fully agree, and it's almost like, as you just said just then, it's almost like the fact pull back, like going to the theaters, like 15 or even older before, without so much the internet being so big, you would have just gone on reviews. You would have just gone on word of mouth. You wouldn't have gone online and seen all these other opinions and everything. Going to see a film. You'd had a mate going, oh, look, I just checked out blah, blah. You should go see it. And you would have gone. Like, look at the absolute success that was the first Top Gun.
Yes.
But Lightyear. Probably what also didn't help Lightyear is the fact it did get banned in like 21 countries. And
in my opinion, I don't think it deserved to, but like I understand, like every country's different. But if you went to see the movie and you see that like 0.5 second reason of why it got banned in other countries, I feel like maybe I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to say too much on here because
no.
Whatever your opinion is out there, let's just say I agree, just to make everyone happy.
I clear. I've seen the scene on TikTok because I saw someone post being like, imagine filming a scene for only 5 seconds and then getting banned in 21 countries for a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But who knows? Disney has money to blow, so I don't think they could care at all whether or not they get banned in any country.
No, they do, because like as you guys said in your episode, it's going to be on Disney Plus, in a month's time anyway. But no, like I think the COVID effect is definitely still present, and like as you said, I think the recommendations podcast like ours definitely builds upon the fact of what movies you should go see and what you don't go see.
Yeah. We do the heavy lifting for you. We watch the bad ones and the good ones, so you know what to
like we
do.
saw Morbius and Don't Look Up, which was absolutely garbage, but for some reason, Don't Look Up got into Best Picture nomination, which I thought was, I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm like, how is that? How is that Best Picture, but you don't put Spider-Man No Way Home in it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was undeserved. I feel like with the Oscars and the Academy, I think they're very afraid of putting in like comic book movies in that category. I think the last time we had a win was I think Black Panther for costume or visual effects.
It did.
And then we had Suicide Squad for costume. We had obviously Heath Ledger for Dark Knight. But whenever you start putting those movies into Best Picture, I think that they're a little iffy of like the diminishing the quality of I guess traditional film. Because I think if you throw in a comic book movie in there, it's like, is that an insult to like everything else? I don't know.
I don't think it's an insult. Like, I think it's more the fact that like if the movie holds up, because like I think with Black Panther, right, is the fact I think because that lost Best Picture to Bohemian Rhapsody. I think if Bohemian Rhapsody didn't come out that same year, but Black Panther would have won. But because the fact it came out the same year. But like I always have this argument that like if you slap on saying, this based on a true story or it's a biography or something like that, in my opinion, it's like, well, everyone's gonna be drawn to that. That's gonna win everything, even though if the movie's absolutely shit, because the fact they put on it saying it's based on a true story or it's a biography, it will automatically win awards.
That's true. That's a good point that you make there. But real fast, I know we were just talking about like coronavirus and everything. I want to get people more into depth about both of us. So like you started your podcast during pandemic, right?
So we were in Australia, in my state of Victoria. We had some of the very harsh lockdowns. It was so much fun, like I was saying before, we couldn't leave more than 5K in our house. Only like a shopping center was open, or where you could just get your regular food, or a bottle shop that was open. Thank God. Anything else would be closed down, or you could only do online shopping. And I was talking to my mates because we do a similar thing, which like as you were talking about before, is like we would go see a movie and we would chat for nearly half an hour after the movie, to the point where our partners drove separately to the movies to come see it with us because they didn't want to wait after the movie so they could leave, because we would still chat about it. And I would always say to my friends, like,
wow,
why don't we just stick a mic in front of us and just chat? Even if you have one person listen to you, that's one other person that you've reached out to and you're speaking to. And I thought, you know what, I'll do it. So I ordered a mic off Kogan. I researched how to start it, and I think the biggest thing was just trying to figure out the freaking name.
The name is the hardest part, man. Like, I can't tell you how much time we spent going back and forth on so many names. I think we still have a list somewhere of like all the original names that we wanted to do.
No.
It's funny.
So like, how did you guys like start all this? Like what because you guys just started early this year.
That's right. We did start in April earlier this year, and we had the idea because every time a new movie would come out, I think it started really with Batman that was released like in March, and Santi and I, we would go back and forth about like how much we loved the film. We talked deep into like the thematics, into the score, into the script, and we started talking more about like why don't we just start recording our conversations and uploading them. And he's all like, nah, like you would never do it. I'm like, I'm down if you're down. He's like, well, I'm down if you're down. And so that is what led to the birth of our show. But yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. Like, it's been a good journey so far. We love it. We're having a good time. We're meeting people like you. We're meeting Nerd Dose Podcast. Like, good community here. But yeah, like when it comes to the naming, oh god, him and I had like the most intense discussions of like what we wanted, and so it was fun. So tell me about your name though. Like, how did you come to your conclusion?
Well, like I fully agree with you. I had a whole list as well, and it's hard because it becomes your brand. Like that's the thing that you want people. It's going to be
Yes.
easy to say, and the thing is, you're also going to search and make sure that no one else has it as well. And you're going to make and then from that you're also going to make the logo, and you're going to make sure the logo is easy to remind.
Yes, the logo has to match.
No, so originally I thought about because I love Marvel so much. I originally was looking at being just a Marvel podcast, but then I was like, I thought, oh no, that limits me too much. So then I thought, no, I want to branch out to regardless of anything, movies, TV shows, and video games. So I had names like it was like the Morgan Experience because that's my last name. It was like the Morgan Equation. Yeah, I know. It was what was it? Film. It was like Film something Morgan or Hour or Power Hour or something like that. And then I was talking to my mates, and I was like, "Well, what do you do with your podcast?" I'm like, "Well, we rant for hours after we go see a movie," and they're like, "Well, it includes something about ranting," and I was like, "Oh, well," I was like, lights, camera, rant," and I was like, "Done. All right, sold." So then I looked in that, and then I looked at so many different podcast websites to make sure the fact that no one else had the name, which lucky enough no one did. However, to my credit, if you do type in lights camera, it does come up with like 80 different podcast names for obvious reasons. But as far as I can tell, no one had that name. So then once I settled on the name, I went onto a website called Fiverr or Fever. I still can't pronounce it right. And it's like a independent service where you can get get people to make logos for you, or if you're doing exams, they'll look over your exams and tweak it, or they'll make if your resume, like it's a whole bunch of services that people offer that you can enlist them. So then I went on to that, got the logo made, and then once I did that, I started recording, and 57 episodes later, here I am.
Wow, what an amazing journey you've come through. That's such a cool thing to hear.
Thanks. Wow. Really appreciate it. What was like some of the other names that you guys were going to have?
Man, so just like you were saying, like it was so hard to like think of a name that wasn't already taken, because anytime we come up with something, we just input it in Google, and if it comes up like already as a podcast, like we're like, oh god, the name's taken already. So we came up with things like the Spotlight or both of us were different ethnicities, so we wanted to name ourselves like the Minority Man or the Minority Report. We were trying to come up with as many names as possible that didn't roll off the tongue, and then they would all be taken. Like we even thought of like Popcorn Time, but that was taken, and then eventually we started thinking of like, well, what's some things that you say when you're like at a theater, or what are some things that you say when you're going to go see a movie? So I came up with saying like, well, what if when you go up and it's you and your friend or your partner or whatever, and you're like, oh, tickets for 2 for this movie, or 2 tickets please for this, and we kept going back and forth with the name, like the wording, and like where should we be 2 tickets please, like that was like one of our finalists, so like 2 tickets please. And then we're like, oh, that's too long. And so at the end, we're like, oh, how about tickets for 2? And here we are. Now we're TFT.
That's so good. Like, I wouldn't even thought about that either. Like when I saw your name, I was like, oh, I get it, but I wouldn't think to, when because obviously when you go get tickets, instantly.
Yeah. So we wanted to be more of like the how you did traditionally, like there would be like a ticket booth, you'd go up to it, we wanted to kind of bring back a sort of like a nostalgia feeling to people when they used to go up to ask for tickets instead of like buying them on your phone. And then the whole issue came with our logo, with our how we're gonna brand ourselves. So I took that upon myself, like all the artwork on our Instagram, on our Spotify, I do all of that. and it took a long time to get the idea. I mean, if you look at our picture, just two stick figures, so you might think it didn't take that long, but it took a while to come there.
No, dude, it totally works because the fact that obviously anyone who uses Instagram is the fact that when your stories, obviously you need that to stand out. Yours stands out a lot because of the fact it's fully orange compared to everybody else's, and not to mention, you guys only obviously start in April. You're nearly on 1,000 followers on Instagram. Congratulations!
Oh, thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. But give Santi all the praise. No, Santi does all the outreach. He does all the communications. He does all the social media work. So really big thanks to him. I'm on the back end making all the artwork to give our page like a theme, like a certain look and certain color. But yeah, Santi does a great job at getting us where we are. But hey, congratulations to you too. You hit 600 not too long ago. Now you're what, 630? You're like right there.
No, thank you very much. I have a mate who he's I don't know if you see, it's called Mark My Words. And he's one of my best mates, and he started his own gaming channel because he would talking and he wanted to do that as well. So I said, go do it. So he started his own thing as well, and now we're both like neck and neck with our followers. So like I call him a running mate. So both of us are trying to reach that 1,000 as quickly as possible. So we're both looking at each other's pages, and we're both like just trying to break that that glass ceiling. But thank you very much. I was very happy to hit 600, and I appreciate everyone who does follow, obviously, and everyone who does chime in and talk. It's interesting. I was like, have you ever looked at your analytics on Instagram to see where most of your followers are?
I have not actually looked at that. It's a good question. It's a good point. I should probably figure that out. But when we look at our analytics for our podcast, it's funny, like most of our listeners are overseas, like across the pond, or we have people in Africa listening to us, and we're like,
really?
Oh, okay, I get, yeah, we're reaching out to some people all over the world. So yeah, we do look at that. How about you? Like, what do you see?
Well, it's funny enough. Like 53% of my audience is Australian, but then 40%, but like on my Instagram, on the flip side, majority of all my followers on Instagram are all America. Australia is number 2. So it's a reverse on my podcast. And then from United States is 44%, and then Germany, then the UK. The most recent that I got surprised about was Portugal, Mongolia, and Iceland.
Wow, look at you, Mr. Worldwide right here.
I was like, yay! I was like, okay. Which I all appreciate. Everyone listening from those countries, you guys are fantastic.
We love you.
Yeah, we love you. And, Iran and the United Arab Emirates.
That's so interesting. Yeah, whenever we take a look at those numbers, it's kind of baffling to see like how far like we're actually reaching. So it's one of those things. It's like you never thought you'd get there or you'd get here. Having this kind of outreach. We started off as a dream. We started off as a hobby, and here we are now. So it's all mind blowing, to be honest.
I know, I fully agree with you, and I think one of the most humbling things I was telling the Nerd guys as well is the fact that it doesn't matter if you get 1 play to 100 plays. The fact that you've reached somebody in a completely different country, and the fact that they're tuning into your podcast, they want to listen to you, they want to listen to your opinion, they're following you, that just means so much. Especially in a country where English isn't the first language.
Yeah, and we'll take it.
We'll take it. Yeah.
As long as our show gets out there, we're happy. We're happy that we can entertain. We're happy that we can inform. I know like our big thing whenever we make a show is we want to make sure that you learn something new every time you come listen to us. Whether it's like 1 thing or 2 things, but we want you to come and be at your safe space. Like that's kind of how we want to show ourselves. Like if you're having a rough day or whatever, come listen to our show, and I'm sure you'll be at ease, or I'm sure you'll laugh a couple times because that's how we started. We started our show because we wanted to entertain and give people something to listen to. So here we are.
Exactly right. And have a look. Look how far. Obviously, you guys have come. I've come, and it's so nice when someone comments and you start that conversation with them, especially when they're like, "Oh, I just listened to your episode. Yeah, I agree with you, or I disagree with you," and you just, you've made a friend, or you've made someone who really doesn't like what you do, but they'll still listen just to create the argument.
It's funny because in our area where we reside, there's one other person that does this kind of like movie review sort of format. I'm not going to say his name. He doesn't deserve the recognition because like he's our silent enemy. Like he's the only one in our area that also does this, and we're like, oh, we got to beat this guy. He doesn't know it, but we're like enemies. So we have some competition that we're trying to overcome.
Yeah. Oh, hey, the thing is, competition just builds you to strive further. If you've got no bar, then you'll just come complacent. But if you've got someone you're running with, it just pushes you that extra mile.
I agree with that. That's actually a great way of putting it. Real nice. I like that.
Oh, thank you. But no, that's I looking forward to. I've subscribed to you guys' podcast. I listen to you every time, and not to mention, you guys also reached. Because I look too deep into everything, you guys just reached 10 reviews on Spotify, so your 10 comes up now.
Yes, we saw the little number pop up, and we were like ecstatic. We're like, wow, this is again like something we never thought we would get to. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate you calling us out like that because we're happy about it. And you're doing so well. 57 episodes all by yourself, carrying this thing on your back. That is a feat that not many people can say they've accomplished. So good for you, man. Like we love your show, we love your page, we love what you do, and it's amazing to see what you've done.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. When I realized the fact of like, oh yeah, this is episode 57, I'm like, holy shit.
You gotta take a breather once in a while. Like you're just pumping out these episodes. It's crazy.
No, I may have told me I haven't missed a single week for 57 episodes. Haven't missed a single week. Probably the most is like my episodes usually release about 4:00 Australian time. I think only one time. I think I was coming back from holidays, and my episode came out. I think about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I had to pump it out that morning. So I was really like. Did the whole episode, did all the editing, and then just like smashed it out right then and released it because I was like, shit.
So how is your editing process? Do you just record and upload, or do you record, take your time to fix it up, or how do you do it?
So what I usually do is I usually write out my entire episode, like all the dot points, and obviously my dot points on what I've been watching recently. And then what I do is I start getting into the episode, I go through all that. And then once I finish it, I'll listen to it all through Anchor, and I'll edit anything that I feel like I need to cut out. And then once I'm happy with it, I slap on the intro and outro, and then I think it's all good to go. But usually the one that takes me the most time isn't so much the editing; it's just getting down all the news and then my points, what I thought about that movie or the TV show. The last few weeks, I've been trying to review The Boys, Miss Marvel, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yep. Like my episode's going up to like 60 minutes, and like shit, I feel thank you for anyone who listens to all the way to the end, because like holy crap, because like my partner won't listen to me for that long.
That's so funny.
So yeah, that's probably the hardest thing. Probably the hardest thing is just trying to write it out and get ready to record. And then another thing is thanks to my lovely little Jack Russell, who likes to obviously go past or finds a bone or something and then starts eating it behind me.
Yeah, just make a guest appearance.
Yeah. There's a lot of episodes where you can hear him in the background. How about you guys? Like, how do you guys like plan out your episode?
Yeah, so we do have our schedule that we are finally coming to the end of our very first schedule that we had put together since April. And we are currently in the mix of putting together our schedule for the next 2 to 3 months. So we definitely want to include you in there, and we want to bring you on to an episode of our show. Yeah, we would love to have you on because all three of us would be a bigger dynamic. I feel like it'd be great. But yeah, so we have a schedule. We go see a movie. I take notes during the film. He doesn't, but that way I can remember a lot more. We come home, we type up all our notes. Idea. Yeah. I found out that it works a lot. And once we type up all our notes, we send it to each other so we know like what we're gonna piggyback off during our show. So then we fire it up, we record, and at that point we're just off the cuff. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever we say is what we say. And it took a while to get here because at the beginning, when we compare our first episodes, and there's like a little bit awkward because we're still getting used to speaking, and now it just flows. So yeah, that's what we do.
No, and like honestly, your show does flow very well. Like I still even think from your very first episode, it flows. Well, you guys have the advantage of bouncing off each other. Like myself, who's like, I'll just laugh at my own jokes.
But that's one thing that we respect so much is that you are able to sit down and talk for an hour, and not many people do that. Not many people can do that. So the fact that you do, biggest praise, and that's why we're honored to be even featured on your episode today. It's incredible.
No, I'm just happy you guys had the time. That's the most thing is just try and work out this time difference with international. But no, like I actually don't do any note taking. During the movie. I probably should do that. As soon as I finish watching a movie, I like keep it all in my head, especially all the points I did like or dislike. Do you find, because you've been doing this for a little while, do you watch a movie now and like still enjoy it, or do you find sometimes you're like looking at it like a critical eye?
I love that question because Santi and I ask each other that all the time. Like, are we going to start getting bored of going to the theater? Like, because it's now almost a job. So for right now, we could say that we still enjoy it. I think the movie going experience is still high for us, and we don't see it as a chore. And we're having a good time. I think the last when we went to go see Lightyear, I had a good time in the theater, and I didn't feel like I was doing it for a hobby. So how about you? Do you feel like it's becoming a chore now, or what do you think?
No, I don't feel like becoming a chore. The only movie I think recently that I felt like as a critical prick was for Jurassic World. Like that, watching that, I felt myself being critical, but then I thought of myself after. I was like, no, that was bad. No, that wasn't me looking at like too much critical. Like, no, that was actually bad. On the flip side, because I saw Jurassic World and Top Gun the same weekend, is I saw Jurassic World first, then I saw Top Gun. Yet when I saw Top Gun, I was completely blown away. I didn't look at it in a critical eye at all. I was just so immersed in the film.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's good. So you're still having a good time watching these movies.
Yeah. So haven't reached that point yet. Especially when I go see a Marvel movie, I'm like completely zoned in, and I'm not looking for the error or that was pretty bad. I'm still like fully immersed into the universe. Even when I saw Doctor Strange, I was like still so messed with everything going on, and then I was like, yeah, this was a bit bad. Yeah, this was a bit bad. But no, it's really good, and it's amazing how far you can come. You don't realize how far you can come once you start launching on something like this. And I tell everybody that if you want to do a podcast, go right ahead. It's so easy to start one. Like myself, I literally still record just on my phone. I really upgrade everything up around it. And there's people that would go to like Comic-Con and everything, and they'd have like a little set and a mic and everything to record while they're there, and then they post the episode that day.
Yeah, no, it's insane. Like we talked to each other, Santi and I, about that, about having a panel at Comic-Con is one day the goal, one day the dream, but we'll see if we ever get there.
Yes, I would. So the dream is to go onto one of those premiere for a movie and and then interview people or go to see the movie at the premiere. Like I see the premiere for like Doctor Strange and Thor, and I think to myself, I think I would lose my fucking mind if I was there. I'd just be having my drawer open the whole time.
Getting that first-hand experience, it'll be incredible. So hey, let's hope that we get there. I mean, Santi and I are definitely gonna be hoping that you come along, as far as possible, because you're doing great, and we hope that we both get there. We'll share panels together.
Yeah,
I'll do it all.
See you at the top.
There we go. I love it.
Did you have another question, or did you want to move on to the next segment?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. So the next is we're going to be looking at what were our most anticipated movies so far, like a reflection of the first 6 months, and what is yet to come for the next 6 months, because it's obviously we've only got 6 more months of the year's end, and there's still so much coming out. So at the very beginning of this year, what was your most anticipated movie so far?
Yeah, so from starting in January, for me personally, I was really anticipated for the Doctor Strange movie and for Batman. Obviously, two superhero films. We get it. But for me, Doctor Strange holds a special place for me, like kind of in my childhood. I grew up with like the Marvel video games that were on the GameCube, and I played with my brother, and then I'd always pick Doctor Strange as a character. So
really?
So when this movie came out, I was like all hype. And if anyone dares to listen to our Doctor Strange podcast episode, it's just me talking everything about like the history, the spells.
I remember.
So I was really anticipated for that. But in regards to like what we're looking forward to in the next 6 months, for us, or for me personally, I should say, it is Avatar: The Way of the Water, and then I'm really, really curious to see Damien Chazelle's Babylon.
By the what?
Babylon.
Oh, Babylon. Oh,
yes.
Real quick. What do you guys think? What do you think of Batman?
Oh, we absolutely loved it. We gave it out of 5. We gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It was absolutely well made. I feel like the more I dive into it, the more we dive into it, there is so much things that that Matt Reeves was able to pick out and like actually feel like it was a twist, like all these riddles and all like this detective work. It felt like a really well grounded, real Batman. It felt good.
It fully agree. Yeah. It was like that. I said in my review was the fact it doesn't feel like a superhero film. It more feels like, an extension of like Saw. If someone,
yes,
as in, because what the Riddler was doing, or an old movie like those old like 90s like detective movies where they're trying to, the bad guys one step ahead, the cops trying to find the killer, he's leaving body parts and everything like that. It felt like that, like a detective thriller, more so you're watching a superhero film.
I love that how you broke it down like that. I totally agree. It was not really a superhero film. It was everything that you explained. Oh wow, that's a really good analysis of it. I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you ever? My biggest thing was, do you believe the runtime was worth it, or do you believe they could have trimmed?
I think it was worth it. I feel like everything that we saw was a treat. I think it felt like a kid on Christmas. Everything that we were given, the way that they were able to give us our stories for the Penguin, for Catwoman, it was spot on for me. I think any shorter, it would have felt like it was rushed. So what do you think?
Yeah. My thing was, I think you could have trimmed it a little bit.
Okay.
But I still like the fact it was full 3 hours. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the fact it was 3 hours. Because, like, I thought it was going to end when Falcone got shot. I was like, oh, okay, so this is going to be it. And I was like, oh, wait, no, there's another 40 minutes to another 40 minutes to this. But I don't know if you've ever played the Arkham games.
I never did. Asante is a huge fan of those. I wish he was here, but I definitely have not.
But like, if you like, have you ever seen like Arkham Knight? Like, have you ever see Gotham?
Oh yeah, the gameplay and all that, all the work. Yeah.
That's that, and the first opening scene for the Batman showing Gotham. I had that vibes to it. I was like, this is definitely Gotham. For some reason, it's always raining. Don't know why it's always raining in Gotham, but it is. And just how the music was so good, the intense fear with everyone, and I had to eat my words. I thought Rob Pattinson was going to be shit. I said it in my podcast as well. So look, I've got no hope for him.
That's bold.
And then I started my episode. I was like, I'm wrong. I was wrong. Hate me for it. He actually did a solid job.
At least you were brave enough to admit when you were wrong. A lot of people would just keep riding that wave, so good on you.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, thank you. I was like, oh god damn it. My mate Mark, his video was review started with, oh, the son of a bitch did it.
That's such a great way to start too. Like, wow, I can't believe, yeah, we got what we needed, and like, oh yeah, everyone just kept talking about like, oh, it's the Twilight guy, it's this and that, the vampire boy, like, oh man,
Yeah,
out of the park,
yeah,
loved it.
100%. But did you like? Would you still be happy with that, or would you have liked to seen Ben Affleck's Batman version that was meant to happen with Deathstroke?
Yeah, so that's where I'm conflicted because like I would have loved to see Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke, but I just was never ever sold on Ben Affleck's Batman. I never was. It was funny because like I was at Comic Con the year that Justice League was announced, and I was right there in the crowd, like 2 rows away from Ben Affleck giving everyone handshakes, and I was like, oh wait, but I missed it by a second. But
I'm so jealous that you get to go to Comic Con. So jealous.
You can still come. I know you're across the way, but it's always a possibility.
I know it's a bit more of an effort.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And when we were there, and we saw like the Ben Affleck Batman, I wasn't sold on it. So I'm actually pretty happy that we got this Matt Reeves over the Batfleck.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that Ben Affleck's killed in Batman v Superman, but I would have liked, I think more so just seeing Deathstroke on the big screen. I would have still liked to seen that movie, like as in an action point, seeing him go up against someone as tactical awareness as Ben Affleck's Batman is, instead of fighting the Joker or fighting the Riddler and like Catwoman, Penguin, who can't fight back to him, and versus someone who can actually go toe to toe with him, But I still like the Batman. I can't wait for the sequel. I can't wait for this world to be enriched. I really hope they do tackle Mr. Freeze. I think Mr. Freeze would look fantastic in this world, and but I kind of want them. I'm happy for the Joker to be in the sequel, but I don't want him to be the main villain. I feel like that's something that you could end like the third movie on.
I agree with you. I feel like that would be a great way to introduce Mr. Freeze. I feel like that would fit really well into this. I know, like, we ended this Batman with everything flooded. So just to imagine, like, Mr. Freeze freezing all the water to, a high level. I don't know. The ideas are out there, but yeah, you're right. It would be cool to introduce these new characters. But what are your anticipated movies for the year?
Doctor Strange was because of like WandaVision and everything, and like as you said, like the first Doctor Strange was so good. I can't speak more highly of it, and Benedict Cumberbatch was a fantastic choice as the character. I'm really glad they got to make that work because he was almost not going to play the character because there was a schedule conflict with what is it, Sherlock.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
He was shooting at the same time, and I think he completely embodies the character. And obviously, after Spider-Man No Way Home, I had this really big expectation for Doctor Strange.
Exactly.
And
man.
But like, I still love Doctor Strange, and I think out of all it, Elizabeth Olsen was the MVP for that movie. She absolutely nailed it. Every scene that she was in. And she's not dead. 100% she's not dead.
Nobody ever dies in Marvel.
No. Oh, actually, no. Quicksilver does.
Oh, you're Quicksilver Gwen. We're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, he dies and doesn't come back. And when he does come back, it's a different actor.
Yeah.
But it was, for me, it was Doctor Strange, Batman because I had my curiosity. And then Thor 4, which obviously goes where its majority is all Marvel. And then actually, now this was annoying because what I actually was looking forward to was the Flash movie. Because this was meant to come out this year because of the fact that Michael Keaton was returning as Batman, Ben Affleck was going to be in it. Just seeing Michael Keaton as Batman got me so excited. The fact that we're going to do the Flashpoint paradox. which you're aware of. That's comic book
Yes,
storyline?
definitely. I love what you talked about in your podcast about how Ezra Miller should not be the Flash.
Nah, and
No.
he's just fucking ruined it for himself. But that was at the very beginning of this year. I don't know if you remember, but I remember seeing promos and everything saying DC's like 2022 is the year for superheroes, and then like 3 weeks later they popped out saying that all these movies got pushed back. I'm like, you guys are shit. You guys like Warner Brothers is shit. But the Flash movie, I was so excited to see, and then that got pushed back. But besides that, now is Black Panther, only because of the fact of the curiosity of like how are they going to tackle Chadwick Boseman RIP's passing, and how are they going to explain why he died after Endgame.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that'll be actually pretty interesting to see. 'Cause I think that comes out in November. I think, right?
It does, and it's going to go right up against Avatar. Now, I'm not overly excited for Avatar. I will still watch it because my biggest thing is it going to come anywhere near as close as the first Avatar?
Man, that's a good
Box office.
question. That's a good question. Yeah, because I mean, what? How much money did the first one pass? Over $1 billion, right?
Over $1 billion, and it pains me the fact that it beat Endgame.
Just by a small sliver, if I remember correctly.
Only by a small slither, because the fact that they re-released it.
That was just petty. That was just mean of them to do that.
That's why. So Endgame had the title, and then they re-released it again and made a little bit more money, and they did it in China. So that's why they got the extra boost over it.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, they're smart. Like, we may think differently, but those people are smart to get that money back.
Yeah, fully agree. So Avatar is $2 billion at the box office.
Oh,
2.847 at the box office. Avengers Endgame is 2.797.
Wow. They're like right there.
Yeah, they're like right there, and that's what annoys me to this day, that Avatar's still number one, because like I liked Avatar, but I didn't think it deserved to be the highest grossing movie of all time.
I think with the hype that Endgame had, it should have been them.
Yeah, that's like the more deserving one is Endgame. Yet Avatar, a lot of people, when you ask them now, like, what is no one? I don't know anyone who says my favorite movie of all time is Avatar.
It's true. It's just one of those movies that are like you had to have seen, but it's not like on anyone's top list that I know of.
Avatar definitely doesn't deserve it at all, and not to mention, actually, they're re-releasing it again.
For what? I don't understand. For what reason would they want to do that? Is it just to get people like excited for the new one?
Yeah, they're re-releasing it later this year, but like James Cameron is going to update everything visually.
I doubt it's going to be like anything like incredible, but it's another money grab. God, James Cameron, you're so good at this.
Just because the fact he wants to be Avatar, Titanic, to be Avatar's number one, Titanic is number two, but honestly I don't know why they're re-releasing it again. But from the trailer that we saw from Avatar, which was at the beginning of Doctor Strange,
Yes.
It looks really good, like visually stunning.
It was funny because like when I went to go see Doctor Strange, I didn't get the trailer, so I was freaking out. I was like, "Where is it? Everyone's talking about it." But when it was released online, I saw it and it was really good, gorgeous movie.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I didn't get the trailer. That's
It hurt. I was like, wow, I'm getting robbed of my money right now. I came for the trailer.
I want the trailer. I always said it to everybody. I was like, we're still going to make sure we're there early to watch the trailers. And I was like, don't you know everything that's coming out? I'm like, yeah, but I want to see it on the big screen. I want to see it on the big screen. But yeah, that's probably my top movies that I'm looking forward to this year. Probably the next one down is probably Black Adam. Probably seeing The Rock play an anti-hero.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that's going to do because obviously, being The Rock, he's going to have so much creative control over this movie from distance himself from Warner Brothers. How this movie is going to get made because The Rock has been attached to this project, set to Black Adam, I think since 2008.
That's crazy. Like what? Like, wow, taking it this long to get this far. Okay, I like it.
Like
I hope it's good now.
Yeah, I hope it's gonna be good. But yeah, like he's like rumored and attached to it for like this long. And I always love when he says, "Oh, the hierarchy of the DCU is about to change." It's like, what competition do you have? What?
Yeah.
There's no competition.
Shazam? What are you doing?
Yeah, Shazam, which that's still coming out this year. So the Flash got pushed back, yet Shazam got pulled forward.
Someone at DC needs to get fired. I swear to God.
Yeah, just fire them all. You guys are all shit. You need to do a full reset, and Shazam is going to fail. Shazam is going to fail because of the fact it's going up against Avatar 2.
Oh my God! Like, why would they think that's okay? But see, that's the thing I'm curious about is like why or how these companies they decide on release dates. I really wonder like what is like the process behind that.
I would love to know that as well because it's funny how we've got Doctor Strange has come out, and then only 2 months later or a month and a half later we get Thor, and then we don't get another Marvel movie for another 3 to 4 months. Because Black Panther comes out in November.
Okay.
And we know why Top Gun got pushed back multiple different times. They finished shooting that in 2019.
But I love that because Tom Cruise was like, I'm not going to make any movie ever for streaming services. Like, all my movies are going to be for the theater. So I really like that about how Tom Cruise was.
Yeah, I'm glad he kept pushing. I'm glad he kept pushing for it because it was well worth it. And obviously what we saw. So, and then you look on the flip side and you look at all the controversy that happened with Black Widow.
I don't even consider Black Widow as part of the Phase 4 for Marvel. Like, it's one of those movies that it's gone to the wind right now. Like, I don't pay attention to it.
It really has. It should have come out between Civil War, between Civil War and Infinity War. It should have come out. The best thing that came out of that was her sister, Elena. That's the best thing that came out of that movie. But I don't know anyone that's going to be like, "Oh, I can't wait to go back and re-watch Black Widow."
But yeah, the only thing that came out was her sister because now we have like the whole Thunderbolts probably getting planned. But yeah, other than that, that movie does not exist in my mind.
No, I don't know how it's part of Phase 4. Are you... Actually, speaking of anticipation, are you looking forward to the fact that Marvel is coming back to San Diego Comic-Con and apparently there will be announcements, which Kevin Feige has said he's going to be clarity on where Phase 4 and Phase 5 are going to be headed?
Yes, I'm excited for that. I was at the Comic-Con when they announced Infinity War and back then it was Infinity War Part 1 and 2. And they showed us like the trailer to the movie first than anybody else. So I was there for that, and I got to.
Oh, you lucky son of a bitch!
Man, honestly, like that line because it's very very infamous now. It's called Hall H at Comic Con.
Yeah,
is where Marvel sets up shop, and that line you got to be there all day just to make sure you have a decent seat. So. I'm very jealous of everybody that's going to go and see that because I'm pretty sure they're going to be just rewarded with a bunch of cool new things that we're never going to see. So I'm excited to see what they got to bring.
Oh, it's so am I. Like I'm just, a lot of people have been saying, people saying, oh, Phase 4 it has no direction. Marvel's dead after Endgame and all this. I'm like, no. I'm like, you're trying to tell me that you believe that still headed by Kevin Feige, the fact that there's no plan right now and Marvel's just spitballing everything to the wall. I'm like, you're an effing idiot and you don't have patience. I'm like, soon as Kevin Feige announces everything, everyone's going to be like, oh yeah, I knew this was going to head in this direction.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I called it.
Like, it's funny because I don't know why they think that the mastermind behind all of this is just going in it blind. Like, come on now. Like, there's definitely structure at all of these things. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited.
No, I honestly can't wait, and I can't wait for Thor 4, which is only just 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We've got your tickets for that. Yeah, tickets for 2. Have you got your tickets for that?
So we do. We have our tickets for that. We're ready to go. We hope to make an like a first impressions video for all of you after we see the movie. So we are excited for that. But yeah, how about you? You got your tickets ready?
Yeah, I got my tickets. I'm the lucky guy that gets to buy tickets for everybody. So there's usually like 5 of us that go to the movies and see all these. So I'm the lucky one who gets all the tickets. And as soon as they become available, I buy them straight away because I want the good seats. I live about 30 minutes away from the majority of my friends, and I drive out to them because there's a better theater near them than close to me. So I'll drive that way just to have the nice comfy seat, rolls out and everything. And the fact that I can drink during the movie is fantastic.
Oh, that's nice. So I'm curious. Where do you see your future with Lights Camera Rant? Where do you want to go with this?
Oh, sky's the limit. No, so my thing is that I would love to do more video episodes. That's something I would love to bring out. So Thor 4 and my review and Black Panther review will both be a video podcast episode. Okay. I would love to do that a whole lot more and bring that more every episode. Just having the time to do it. Add more to the merch store. Add more to that. And also want to obviously have more guests like yourselves. That is the big plan, probably number one above everything else. And then I've been looking to try and do some Instagram live stuff, try and dabble into that as well. Because I just recently bought a new mic. That was the big upgrade.
Oh, nice.
Thought that was well overdue from a $50 mic to a $200 mic. Hopefully that's conveyed very well. However, I did record my episode last week, and I didn't realize, but I was actually a little bit quiet. I'm thinking, why am I so quiet? Like, I had the mic set up and everything, yet I didn't realize that on the mic has a podcast setting, and the front logo of the mic has to be facing you. So the logo can't be just facing in any direction. It has to physically be facing you. I was like, oh,
there's a lot going on when you buy new equipment that you gotta tweak first. That's right.
Yeah, and I thought, I thought this all sounded good, and then my mates was like, "Oh, you're a little bit quiet." I'm like, "Oh, that'd be why." Probably the most thing is to have more guests like yourselves, and then bring out more video podcasts. How about yourself? Where do you guys see yourselves headed?
Yeah, so we definitely started this as just our main goal was to one day work for Rotten Tomatoes. We would love to.
Woo!
Yeah, we want to one day hopefully see if we can build enough credit to be a reviewer for them. But as of right now, again, we love talking to people like you. We love having guests like you on. We want to work more on collaborations. I know we just did a collaboration with Movies Tick on Instagram with Haunting of Hill House review, and we want to keep doing that a lot more.
Awesome.
So if someone like yourself or anyone else wants to come on board, send us a message, and want to do a collaboration, a dual review of a favorite movie or a show, we're more than happy to do that. It's kind of what it means to be part of this community, is just make these friends. Like we mentioned earlier, like Nerd Dose Podcast, amazing people over there. So we hope to get those guys on board and keep going like that. I love the collaboration amongst this community.
Same way. Just talking to you all guys is just fantastic, and I can't wait for we're to do an episode with all 3 of us. Right now, I do have an episode line up in a couple of weeks to do with the Nerd Dose podcast, so they're going to come on the show again. And I got a couple of other ones lined up, just trying to get the timing wise. But sky's the limit for you guys, and I can't wait to see more guests that come on your show and see you guys, obviously collaborate and everything. You guys should definitely dabble in doing a video episode.
So it's funny because we've been talking about that a lot, and the one thing that comes up is like, are we ready to dox ourselves? Like, are we ready to like show the world? So we're creeping up on that milestone, but I think we will eventually start doing video episodes as well.
I look forward to it. Like and I just record. Like I just still record everything off my phone. The only big difference is like I can't look at my notes as much. When I tried to do my first video episode, I was like, oh, I have to really remember all this. I can't keep looking down.
No, that's right.
I can't keep looking down to do it. But no, like honestly, as I tell the Nerd Dose guys as well, like sky's the limit. You know, you guys bring out solid content. You guys go in depth. And this community that we're building, everyone that we talk to, and everyone wants to just jump on and have a good discussion, and it's also obviously when people reply to your stories, like you guys do the box office numbers as well, which is good to see. What's up, what's down. Lightyear is down. Lightyear is very down.
Very down.
So are you doing guys like? Because you guys are coming to the end to your original lineup, would that be considered your season 1? Like, are you doing seasonal?
We are. So that's an interesting point that you mentioned. So we are dabbling in the idea of doing seasons because we did finish up our first April, May, June. Our first 3 months of our schedule. So we are thinking it's time for a season 2. But what that entails, that has yet to come. We're still dabbling with ideas, but we're happy with where we're going. And we mentioned we want to bring you on, so we'll work with you to find a time and a day that works best. What about you? Are you going to start working seasonally? I mean, look at that. It's almost 60 episodes in.
No, like I've seen, like, obviously with Anchor and everything, you can see the season thing. And when I started this, I was like, oh no, I can pump out an episode every Tuesday. I could do this. But no, at this stage, I'm just looking to, I can still make the time with everything going on, so I can still pump out an episode. I think if I ever decide to have a kid or something, I probably will dabble and I'll have to go seasonal. This is I don't have the time all the time, so I'll have to break it up. I'm looking at it and it's just ways to expand, do more into YouTube as well. There's other platforms, but seasonal is probably when I have to have a kid.
That makes sense. You're going to need to make the time for that. But hey, let everyone know, what are you going to be talking about in your next episode?
Next week's episode will be a video episode for Thor 4. Actually, yeah. No?
Okay.
Hang on, what's the date today? Oh, no, that'll be, yeah. So next week will be a Thor... Oh, hang on, what's the date today? Actually, no, sorry. It'll be a normal episode. Normal episode, probably still talking about The Boys. Actually, that's what we were talking about. The Boys and Miss Marvel, because it will be the season finale of The Boys. So that's going to be... Have you ever seen that show?
Oh my god, I just binged it last weekend. It's such a good show.
How good is it?
So hold on. First of all, I've now seen the most recent episode that came out last night on Friday. So, but everything else up until the episode 6 of season 3, so fantastic. I love it.
And the thing is, I'd never seen it, and then last year in the pandemic, last year in lockdown, Mark from Mark My Words, he's like, have you ever seen this show? I was like, oh, no, I don't have Amazon Prime. He's like, dude, you need to get it. You absolutely love it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll put on the list. And I ran out of things to watch. So I was like, all right, I'll put this on. And I think I texted him after the first 20 minutes going, oh, you're right. You are so right. This is just so good. And the acting, the writing, it doesn't matter if it's really gory. It's just such a good show.
In every single aspect, it really is. And I can't stress it enough to anyone who's not seen this show, please hop on there. It costs you an Amazon membership, which I'm pretty sure you already have, so give it a chance. You won't regret it.
Not at all, especially the fact that we're coming to the season finale. They've also announced the fact they're going to do season 4. It's just a fantastic show. And that's the thing, like I said in my last episode, was the fact that right now I'm reviewing Miss Marvel, Kenobi, and The Boys, and I have to admit, I'm a big Marvel and a big, Star Wars fan, yet I'm more excited for the next episode of The Boys than I am for Kenobi and Miss Marvel.
I don't know. With Kenobi, there was a lot going on behind the scenes that I feel kind of shaved off any more great things that we could have witnessed. But with Miss Marvel, I've not started that, and not for any other reason except laziness. So I should probably start that because I hear good things out of that.
It's a good show. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's definitely in the vibe of Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
Extension of that. So you obviously being a massive Marvel fan, you will enjoy it. It's just like for me, it's just like you're gonna watch Miss Marvel or you're gonna watch the next episode of The Boys.
No, The Boys, 100%.
Yeah, and the fact that The Boys you only get those 6 episodes, and then it's next year straight away. That's it.
So about your whole podcast in general now, are you going to end up bringing like a more permanent guest on your show, like someone more, other than just you, or are you having fun just being yourself?
I enjoy being myself.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's good.
No, at the very start, I did think about having a co-host at the time, but then it turned into like I don't have someone that will want to join me week by week for this, and then it was like the timing wise in my head was like, if I just do it on my own accord, then it would be a lot easier to pump out an episode. I would love to, have someone like reoccurring for like every third episode or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. But my mate Mark, he's been on like most episodes of my podcast. I love having them on, and if I can really ramp up having more guests, obviously, you'll probably hear me talk for probably a couple, and then you'll be like guest as well. So originally there was the thought to have a co-host, but due to timing wise, it was like, nah, I can do this on my own. And I appreciate everyone who sits through 60 minutes of me ranting.
No, because everything that you're doing is amazing. So good for you. Keep it up. And we're honestly looking forward to see how far you go, because if we can all get to the, as far as possible together, then we did a good thing. We had fun.
That's exactly right, and I look forward to when you guys have more guests. So, like, are you ever look to doing like more episodes, like during like your current schedule, like bonus episodes?
So we are trying to do that. You're right. So that is an idea that we have. We want to make more content for all of our people, especially a lot more Instagram Reels, because we feel like that is much more easier for us to edit, push out, and at the same time, give you guys something to watch. But as far as like a podcast episode, we're kind of content with what we do once a week, and everything else that you want to see extra can always go over to our Instagram for our Tickets for Two Instagram handle, and you see what we got going on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can, and you can see it so good. And like, I think the Instagram Reels are almost like becoming more popular than TikTok.
Interestingly enough, that's what we're noticing too. Yeah.
And I had someone the other day tell me, he's like, "Oh, I go through Instagram Reels over TikTok," and I was like, "What?" I go through like I never think to go through Instagram Reels to just for 5 minutes.
And man, the things that you find on there is actually pretty interesting. So yeah, I definitely think that Instagram Reels is the way to go, and that's the route that we're going to right now.
Oh, well, that's really good to hear. And guys, if you haven't already, definitely go follow Tickets for Two. Their content, their branding is fantastic, and everything that you guys can tell is all, obviously all, even from afar scrolling through, you guys can tell it's straight away.
Thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. We definitely worked hard to figure out like what we wanted our brand to be and our little signature look. So thank you very much for noticing that. We appreciate that.
No, that's all right. Because when you look at all this brand stuff, you think, I'd love to dabble in that. I'd love to do this. I want to do this, and then it all comes down to timing wise, and just having the time to do it all. And then obviously making sure to keep on updating and like content wise, and then also trying to respond to all you lovely listeners and everyone who comments.
Yeah, we're starting to freak out a bit. We're getting like messages, and we're like, okay, we gotta be on top of it now. But we never prepared for all this, so we're trying to figure out like what we can do to find a better way to do it. But yeah, this is great. We're enjoying it. And we really do appreciate, our friendship that we have with you, and we hope to keep it up.
Yeah,
as well.
right. Well, Andrew, I think you've answered all our questions. Like, do you have any more questions?
Other than when you're available to come onto our show, I think we answered everything. But let us know. Send us a message if you're free in the next month or what your schedule looks like, and we'll definitely bring you on because we have a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah, we do. Oh, just about Batman and Arkham, the Arkham Knight games and everything like that.
Yeah.
Not to mention, if we, if we do another episode in a couple of months, Thor 4 will already be out as well, so that will be a new conversation topic.
Definitely.
And they'll obviously be leading into the rest of the half of the year. Like Black Adam, I think is in October or whenever that is. But no, I'll definitely. Anyone else who's listening to this, honestly, message us, please. Like, we'd love to have you on the show, or either way. It means the world to us, especially creating that conversation and hearing other people's opinions, and just having a good old discussion, either whether it's discussion or if you're ranting.
Well, we ranted a lot today, so yeah, definitely. If anyone's curious, anyone's listening, you can always send us a message. Hop on over, and we'd love to just get to know everybody and. Like you mentioned, have everyone's opinions on our show, and we accept it all. So it makes for good content, good conversation, and we're ready for it.
Yes, it does. So again, thank you so much, Andrew, for being on this episode. I really appreciate it. I think we covered so much. It was such a good, just a good conversation, and I hope everyone who was listening really enjoyed it. I will also put all the links for Tickets for Two into the bio and everything, so you guys can jump straight over to them. And check out their content because, as I said, it's fantastic. And any last words, Andrew?
Thank you very much, Lee. I really do appreciate this opportunity and this chance to speak with you. We've been DMing each other for a while, so to finally get this opportunity, I had a great time with you. I had a great time speaking with you and learning about everything. I'm still surprised that you know so much about Forrest Gump, and that's still gonna be burned in my head forever. Like, wow, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
So again, thank you very much, everybody, for letting me come on your show, and I had a great time.
I'm glad to hear. I hope to speak to you soon. I hope that obviously jumping you on this episode, and I'll see you on your show. And guys, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.